My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video, and it has been a while since I have got to cover anything having to do with Canada. And for my Canadian friends, it's not because I've abandoned you or anything like that. It's because you guys are holding your own. You're sending the message, you're standing up for yourself, you're refusing the 51st state nonsense, you are refusing to buy American products and participate in American tourism. Hey, I still got your back, but you don't need me to speak for you all the time. And I know when I drop a video on this channel about Canada, it's going to get a lot of views, but morally, I cannot just farm the country of Canada for content. So I don't have to spend a whole lot of time worrying about you guys. You guys handle your business up there. And for that, I am proud of you. I am. I did miss recently, Donald Trump had briefly mentioned the 51st state thing here again a few days ago. I didn't think it was that big of a deal because we're all just kind of laughing at Donald at this point. We don't really give a shit what he thinks. But we did see Donald Trump sort of hint at that a little bit today. See, I had heard a couple days ago that Mark Carney was coming to meet Donald Trump, and I said, finally, I'll have something to talk about when it comes to Canada. And it didn't really disappoint necessarily. It wasn't as exciting as I had hoped it would be. But Donald Trump and Mark Carney met in the Oval Office today in front of the press to, I would say they both met to answer questions, but it was Donald Trump just babbling on like a senile old man for most of the time. I honestly don't know why these world leaders sit down and have these meetings, because it's just Donald Trump airing his grievances at this point. But there is a thing that I noticed through this entire thing that I did find to be kind of interesting. You know how Donald Trump is an internet tough guy? He's got a big fucking mouth when he's sitting, you know, thousands of miles away from whoever he is beefing with. This entire internet tough guy culture runs through the entire MAGA movement, my friends, and I am so sick of it that I just don't know how to even tolerate it anymore. I'll tell you guys a little story of an incident that I had a couple days ago with a internet tough guy. So I like to go through my comments, and I'll even go back and forth with MAGA people if they're willing to actually have a conversation. Now, there are points where I just kick them out of my channel. I don't allow them to participate anymore. And those couple of things are when they threaten violence, which is nearly 100% of the time. That's why when you guys see me kind of airing my own grievances about how MAGA's being a bunch of dicks again, you say, I don't really see a bunch of MAGA in the comments. So yeah, because they threatened me or threatened one of you guys in the comments, so I sent their asses out the door. And normally that's one reason. Or when they accuse me of being on meth. I fucking can't stand that. I have never used a drug in my life. I have unfortunately been around people that were addicted to meth in my younger days. For one, I look nothing like that and act nothing like a meth addict, but it was actually a tragic thing in my younger life to see people go down that road. And I don't, unless a guy's like fucking with me, like provoking me, and he is a meth addict, I don't believe in picking on people's addictions, because they're tragic when you watch them happen to people. So those two things will get a MAGA dork kicked out of here quick. Let me turn up this AC a little bit. Is it hot in here, or is it just me? I've used that line before, so I don't know if I can use it again. But the point I'm trying to make, and don't worry, we'll get back to this Canada and Mark Carney thing in just a minute, but I want to talk about the internet tough guy culture of the MAGA movement for a little bit, because Donald Trump displayed that for the world to see today. I was cruising through the comments a few days ago, and some guy, once again, for the 1,000,000th time since I've started this channel, threatened to kick my ass if he sees me in the truck stop parking lot. If I see you out there, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, which is such a bizarre thing to fucking say, my friends. I am by no means a badass, and I do not run around the internet threatening people. But as far as 40-year-old truckers go, mid-40s truckers, I'm in pretty good shape, all right? I'm just saying I could handle myself. I'm not saying I'm gonna win a fight or I'm gonna whip someone's ass, but if somebody runs up on me in a truck stop parking lot because I insulted their orange god king, they're sure as hell gonna know I was there, my friends. It's not like I'm just gonna take an ass whipping. That's fucking insane. I'm gonna make my mark too. Don't worry, I'll get my pound of flesh also. But I kind of, a couple of you guys in the comments started fucking with that dude, getting him all worked up into a frenzy. And I figured, you know what, I'll jump in on it. And I accused him of throwing a temper tantrum, and that's what I did, because that's what he was doing, right? And I accused him of throwing a temper tantrum. And then he got like really calm. He's like, I'm sorry. I got out ahead of this. I let my emotions get in front of me, and it seemed really reasonable at first. And he said, I would really like to sit down with you and have a cup of coffee and we can discuss our political differences, to which I declined his invitation because the fucking lunatic just threatened me 30 seconds ago. I'm not sitting, this guy's unhinged. You can't trust this guy. He's a lunatic. So I said no. I said, listen, you just threatened to fight me just a few seconds ago. You're gonna have to make friends elsewhere because I'm not interested. To which he proceeded to tear through my comment section all over the fucking place with violent threat after violent threat. He got kicked out of here. Yeah, when I wouldn't be his friend, he got really upset. And to that point, if there was an actual Trump supporter that wanted to sit down with me and we could discuss our differences, hell, I think that would be kind of fun, honestly. You want to record it? We could do that too. I only have some conditions. Don't lie to me in the event that we do that. I want to sit down and have an honest conversation, and when I put the facts in front of you, I want you to acknowledge that Donald Trump is fucking up, all right? If you're going to lie to me, we're wasting my time, and I don't want to do that. And also, let's not talk about Joe Biden. It's not Joe Biden's presidency anymore. What the fuck are we talking about? So back to the point of the internet tough guy culture. You know how Donald Trump's a real badass on the internet? He's talking about annexing Canada. I'm going to turn you into the 51st state, and you've treated us unfairly, and I'm going to tariff you to fucking oblivion because you shouldn't have fucked with America. That's what Donald Trump's saying, right? And then he gets in this room with Mark Carney, who wasn't doing anything to be like necessarily intimidating, but I noticed that Mark Carney had good posture. He was sitting up. He was attentive to what's going on. And then you've got this fucking fat orange fucking slug that's hunched over, fucking half of his face drooping after the goddamn stroke, not making a lick of sense when he fucking talks, by the way. And there's always this certain thing Donald Trump does when he gets in the room with these world leaders that he's really tough to when he's on the internet, and he's always like slouched over, like he's always like purposely like being the smaller man in the room, right? Anybody that was really into what they said, if they really believed their bullshit that was coming out of their mouth, they would be sitting up, back straight, chin up, chest puffed out. I believe in the bullshit that I said. But once internet tough guy Donald Trump gets in the room with Mark Carney, suddenly he's slouched over. He's singing Mark Carney's praises, by the way, which is fine. I mean, that's I guess that's the diplomatic thing to do. But when did Donald Trump become diplomatic? I don't really fucking know. But he's talking about Mark Carney's a very highly intelligent guy. He's a strong leader and all these things, which is 100% true. Well, maybe not 100% true. Maybe he's got some weaknesses. Fuck it. I'm an American. What do I know about picking good leadership? Look what we fucking did. Anyways, there were some disturbing parts of it that stood out just a little bit that I obviously want to go over, because Donald Trump is still on the 51st state rhetoric. And just one time in my life, I would love to see a world leader stand up and get in his face and say, hey, listen to me, you pudgy little fuck. I'm not having your shit anymore. We are a sovereign nation and you can go fuck yourself, would be better. That would be better. And I understand we have to be diplomatic. It's frustrating watching the person on your side have to be the adult in the room while they're sitting with this fucking toddler. It's a super frustrating thing. Canadians, let me know if you feel the same way, because Mark Carney has to do this in a diplomatic way, a professional, be the adult in the room type of thing. But it's like, I just one time want to see somebody get in his fucking face and make him cry. Like literally like start talking shit to him, because he looked like he was about to cry already. He looked really emotional today, Donald Trump did. But anyways, Donald Trump had joked about, listen, don't judge me on that, because here's how Donald Trump works. Don't worry, I'm going to get to this being a shitty thing to say, of course, but he tried to joke about the United States absorbing Canada or merging or something to that effect. It was basically 51st state. And he tried to present it as a joke, and he started laughing and all that stuff. And Mark Carney did quickly interrupt him and said, that's not what I'm here for. That's not where I was going with this, which was nice. That was a very good thing. But then just a few minutes later, as Donald Trump was talking about all of his like trade agreements that he's not saying anything when it comes to the trade agreements, my friends, at all. But when he was talking about how Canada should come to a trade agreement and America should come to a trade agreement, and we want what's best for both countries, all of a sudden, that's what Donald Trump's saying, is we want what's best for both countries, and we want to make deals that are beneficial to both countries. And there is one way that we could do that, but we're not going to talk about that. That was Donald Trump once again saying you can just become the 51st state of America. So at this point, in my opinion, I think this is out of Mark Carney's hands. And let me try to explain what I mean by that. I know that my Canadian viewers are much more patient than like my American trucker viewers that are mad that I won't suck off their fucking orange Jesus. Those guys aren't patient at all. So give me just a minute to explain. And what the fuck was I even saying? What the fuck was I even saying? Give me a second. Okay, I had to go back and rewatch because I completely lost what I was saying. So I was saying that I believe this is out of Mark Carney's hands at this point. And what I mean by that is this is firmly in the hands of the Canadian citizens. Here we are 9-10 months into Donald Trump's angry regime that we have going on in America, where he was quickly shot down on the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state, right? No, we're not fucking doing that. And he's still fucking saying it. So regardless of if Mark Carney has to be diplomatic or didn't want to get involved with that or whatever thing, he did cut him off. I'm giving him credit for that. But the Canadian people can still recognize the bullshit that Donald Trump is saying, and they can keep up the pressure. And Donald Trump went on to say that, well, because he was asked about the tourism drop, which he was given the figure of 25% drop from Canadians. I believe they said 25%. I think it's much more than that, because we are seeing like American tourism get fucking hammered right now. But Donald Trump, being the fucking dipshit that he is, he took that 25% drop as good news and said, well, 75% of Canada still likes us. If he was a businessman, my friends, which is the thing we were sold on, right? No, I'm voting for Donald Trump because he's a good businessman. That 25% drop would be fucking catastrophic. That would be cause for concern, and you would know that you needed to correct your course with whatever you're doing, because a 25% drop in business is unacceptable. Completely fucking unacceptable. But I'm a little bit torn on it. I understand that world leaders can't necessarily confront the president of the United States. I'm well aware of that. I wish they fucking would every once in a while just say, look, we're not going to take this shit from you. And I guess maybe I'm asking for too much for Mark Carney to do that. But overall, his presence in that Oval Office sitting next to Donald Trump, where Donald Trump had to think more carefully about what he was saying, made Donald Trump overall look like a very fucking weak person. And we also, one of the things we were told about Donald Trump was he says what's on his mind. Then say it with your chest, Donald. Get your chest puffed out and talk about how you're turning Canada into the 51st state right there in front of Mark Carney. Sit there and talk about how you've been treated so unfairly by Canada right there in front of Mark Carney. Oh, no, you want to slouch over and you want to, oh, Mark Carney's such a brilliant man and a strong leader, and I know he's going to do the right thing. Donald Trump, why you bitch out when you're face to face? I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Maybe here's a thought, and I don't know if it's a good thought or not, but what about Charlie Angus? How about him? How about we put him in the Oval Office with Donald Trump and we see what comes out old Charlie's mouth? I bet that would be one hell of a good time. It would say, Canada, do me a favor. Somehow we got to set this up. A meeting in the Oval Office between Donald Trump and Charlie Angus to talk about our differences, because maybe Charlie would confront him. Maybe Charlie's in a better position to say, what the fuck's your problem, Donald? Taco, call him Taco to his fucking face. But overall, I guess I'll just kind of wrap this up. I would like to see more resistance from other world leaders, but on the flip side, other countries would like to see more resistance from the fucking Americans. So I understand we're all kind of in a bit of a situation. And I understand that Canada, for the most part, has a tendency to be a peaceful country that isn't necessarily looking for conflict. I just wish somebody would tell Donald Trump to his face what a fucking dick he is kind of what I want. I think other than that, not a whole lot was said. It was Donald Trump's airing of his personal grievances. grievances, crying about the Democrats, continuing with his culture wars about men playing in women's sports because that's what he's worried about. Well, he's got his government, the Republican government has they're shut down because they can't figure out how to negotiate a fucking deal with anyone. Donald Trump is sitting there worrying about other people's genitals, which tracks. That sounds like something he would fucking do. He literally said a whole lot of fucking nothing. But he looked very, very pathetic sitting there next to Mark Carney. All that tough guy bravado was not there at all. And nobody was threatened or intimidated by big tough guy Donald Trump today. I don't have a real winner in this situation. It just kind of is what it is, and was much more uneventful than I was hoping for. But hey, that's the way she goes. Anyway, my friends, I'm gonna get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.